you give a big hand for errors, flaws, for mistakes? Without them we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for inexactitude, for imprecision, bravo, for fudging it, hip hip, 3 cheers. DNA of twisted double helix fame is an expert at that self-replication game. But once in a million times it goes wrong, and thanks to that we're singing the song. Won't you give a big hand for errors, applause, for mistakes? Without them we wouldn't be here. Let's hear it for inexactitude, for imprecision, bravo, for fudging it, hip hip, 3 cheers. If that new mutation hits an egg or seed, which managed to combine together and then lead to one new fungus plant or beast, that baby will be a little different at least. That mutation will probably reduce our new pal's ability to reproduce. But every now and then a mutation arrives, gives you a better chance of making more lives. For imprecision, bravo, for fudging it, hip hip, 3.
Hey everyone, it's Kim Barnes Jefferson here of the Fabulous Fit Squad, and today is a live TV show, and we are going to talk all about if it fits into your macros. And so, you know, for me, I created this TV show because I'm a healthy living expert and a fitness coach, and I just was so sick of hearing women chase skinny. I was so sick of hearing, I've tried this, I've tried that, and I just really, what my goal ultimately is to make sure that everyone who is listening to this live or in the replay, you're able to make informed decisions. And I know, like, now in this world, we get so much information. Actually, I'm trying to time myself, so I want to make sure that I finish on time. We get so much information. We're bombarded, between TV, the internet, Facebook, blah. There's just so much stuff that's around you. So the goal of the TV show is to help you figure out a structured approach that works for you and your family and your busy life. And so I'm here every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. And every month I always come up with a different topic that I just hear that a lot of women are talking about, and things that just, they struggle with. And I just want to make sure that you're not struggling, or you feel that you're having these thoughts and you're by yourself on this. I really want you to feel part of a community. I want to feel that you are supported. So, like as always, you can grab the show notes at fabfitsquad.com/live TV. Tonight is all about flexible dieting. You may have heard the term IIFYM. Oh, I said it right without screwing it up. I know it totally sounds like a new TV show, a new radio channel, but what it stands for is if it fits into your macros. And so I know I've been posting on social media and, having conversations with people, and I know this topic, it's very hot or cold. And, many of us have very strong camps that we're either anti or we're pro. And, if I was writing my high school term paper, and I use this as a subject, right now I want to set up with what my thesis is. And I said, and my thesis would go more like, does IIFM make sense for you? Okay, so I want you to know that I am a big believer in flexibility in my diet, and I'm a big believer in moderation. I do feel that for years, and I was in that camp, that we had this like good list, bad list, don't you dare come to this bad list. Don't you dare ever, break these fitness rules. This is your box. You must live in this box. And, if you even try to go to this box, you're going to put on 4 million pounds. And I think that kind of like rules made me crazy. It made a lot of women crazy. It made us all want to just kind of rip our hair out and just not do anything. It created overwhelm because we had too many rules, too many, structures. And, some people thrive in that structure and some people implode with that structure. So as I was saying is IIFYM. It stands for if it fits in your macros. And macros are what you see on the back of a nutrition label. It's, it tells you, if you look on the back of a nutrition label, it tells you, here are your calories. This is how many grams of protein, grams of fat, grams of carbs, grams of sugar, blah, 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 blah. And so what the macro approach does is it takes, instead of, for years people were like, oh, how many calories does it have in it? And never gave a crap about anything else. Oh my gosh, it only has blah, 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 blah. Like, they have those 100-calorie packs. People are like, oh my God, it only has 100 calories. I can eat 10 of them. But it's like if you ate 10 of them, you ate 1,000 calories. But you didn't know what went inside of it. Then some smart carb company came up with points. And it was like, oh, if I could only have this many points. But again, it never really looked at what the heck was inside the food. Then we were afraid of carbs. Then we were afraid of fat. Then we were afraid of sugar. So there's been all these like things that we've been running from: fear, fear, fear. And macros came along. Well, I guess they've been around for a while. When I first got into fitness competitions and training and nutrition and really learning about this stuff, macros is what they do. And to this day, RDs, that's what they do. They give you calories and then they kind of calculate out. So what I want to do is I want to pull up, I'm getting fancy, so hold on. I want to pull up, I think I have it on. I have it on. Okay, so you can go on pretty much, do the Google, and you can pretty much go on any website if you Google, and it'll show you macros. And so right here I have kind of the main macro page. And so what macros is that you can figure it out by, if you go to this website, and it will map out your macros for you. So you say if you're a man or a woman, you type in your age, you type in your height, you type in, you type in your current weight, and then it tells you, calculates out what your lean body mass is. Then you kind of say, where am I? Am I someone who lives a very sedentary life, or am I someone who's very active? And then it calculates. And so what that's looking at is what they call your thermal energy. So it's like, okay, this is what I know you'll burn for food, but then if you're active, you're going to burn more because you're moving and grooving way more. So then it calculates into how many times you're going to exercise. Then it calculates into how many days, then how many minutes you're exercising. Then it talks about the types of exercise that you do. And then down here, it comes into, okay, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to burn fat? Are you trying to stay the same? Are you trying to gain some weight? Or, do you have some custom formula that you're following? I press display, and presto changeo, it tells me what my macros would be. And according to if it fits in my macros, provided that so let me hold on, macros. It's showing me it's nutrition. There we go. So you see on the screen here, it's showing me, how many calories I can eat. So it's saying that this is how much protein I would have. This is what my split would be for carbs and fats. This is how many days I'm working, and then it basically breaks down for me what I should be eating on a rest day, what I should be eating on a rest day, what I should be eating on a workout day. And so many people get so focused on that number, and so what happens is people were sick of those rules where macros gave them a little bit more control, if you will. And so it was able for you to take any food, regardless of if it was on the good list or the bad list. It tossed that list out the window and said, take the food and break it out into its components. So you needed to calculate how much protein is, and you put it into a spreadsheet. You need to calculate how much fat it had, you put it into a spreadsheet. And that was what gave you your numbers, and your goal was, if you're making this number up, if your macros were 1,000, you would calculate it all up, and if everything added up, if your proteins added up right, your carbs added up right, your fats added up right, you were going to hit your goals based on if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to maintain, or you're trying to put on some muscle. So that's macros in a nutshell. So here's where it starts to fall apart. So some people are very numbers goal oriented. So if it says I needed to have 50 grams of carbs and I was 48 point blah, 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 they would figure out a way to get those 2 extra grams of carbs so that I could balance to the penny. And that's not really what it was all about. In its essence, macros is all about teaching you what's inside food so you make smart choices. Where the extremes have gone, and you probably have seen these, pictures on Facebook where they're like, oh, I'm having some chicken, but I'm also having 4 Snickers bars because it fits into my macros. And that's where myself and a lot of other fitness professionals, we get crazy, is that, there are trade-offs. Just because it fits into your macros doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. And I agree, food rules are crazy. They make me crazy. The good list, bad list, I don't like that. And I believe in moderation. But I also believe that macros aren't going to save you. If you've had some trouble with disordered eating in the past, I think macros set you up to have more disordered eating. And I think most people gravitate towards it because they're looking for this cure-all. And there's no real cure-all in the dieting world. You have to sit down and do the work that it takes to figure out what's going to fuel your body. If you have been in a bad place food-wise, depending on how bad that place is, you might need professional help. If it ran on the line of an eating disorder. If it really wasn't an eating disorder, you can really reach out and work with other nutritional folks like myself and other health coaches to help you kind of get back on to a healthy plan, and also help you, have a healthy relationship with food. One of my clients, she was like, we talked about clean eating, and I use clean eating just really as a catch-all. We talked about it, and she's like, clean eating stresses me out. I don't feel satisfied. And that was what she had in her mind. She told herself that clean eating doesn't leave her satisfied. And, part of me was like, how do we rewire that? How do we, change that dialogue in her head to be like the way I did clean eating in the past? And that's what we talked about, the way I did clean eating in the past. And a lot of it was, people don't eat enough. They think that clean eating is just chicken, broccoli, and brown rice and some sweet potatoes. But it's what I always tell my clients, if it flies, swims, grows in the ground, runs on the ground, swims in the ocean, you could pick it from a tree, it's yours. That's clean eating. Those are the rules. Now, if I pick up a package and it has artificial crap in it, then it ain't for you. That's it. That's all. And, do we use supplementation? Absolutely, because it's not a must-have. It's, if you can't always eat real food, I'm going to give you an option. and the choices that I give for you for supplementation are the closest to nature you're going to get. So that's my struggle, is that when people use this macros because they're sick of clean eating, they want to be able to cheat and have these like crazy binge days, and that can't happen. If you truly want to be healthy, you can't beat the crap out of your body one day and then be like, I'm on the health regimen the next day. Your body isn't so many people think that your body is a thermometer where like, oh, I'm going to turn it up because I want to lose weight, and then I'm going to turn it down because I don't want to lose weight. Your body doesn't respond that way. Your body takes time to change, and if you're changing direction like this, your body doesn't have a chance to catch up. You want to make sure that when you're making these changes, I'm going to make these changes for the next 3 to 6 months, and I'm going to make minor tweaks to it because I'm checking in and seeing if it's working for me. Am I losing weight? Am I gaining weight? There's not these dramatic swings of the pendulum. And, so what I want to leave you with is, how do you make smart decisions? I've told you about this. In theory, it's a good idea. I think in theory, it's a good idea for you to understand what's inside food versus it has 100 calories, I'm going to eat it. I think it's good for you to understand what's inside of it. So it's like, I always tell my clients, they always send me like, it has this many calories and it only has this many carbs. And then I look at the ingredients and I was like, well, I see that it has sucralose. Oh, I see that it has artificial color 5. I'm looking, I'm picking up the hood and I'm looking through everything. I'm not just being like, oh my God, it's a red card, I love it. I'm like, I want you guys to open the hood of your food so you understand what's inside. And so I understand that macros have an appeal because restrictive dieting sucks tushy, right? It sucks. Calorie counting sucks. Having this good list, bad list, it's so hard to keep up with what's on it and what's off of it. So I totally get it. But I also feel that when you put in this macro and you're not ready to live a good, healthy life, you might be torn to being like, I can have 4 Snickers bars a day because it fits into my macros. And you might be short on proteins. You might be short on, you'll be high in fats, you'll be high in carbs with your Snickers bar, but you'll be short on protein. And protein is the building block of muscle. Calorie restriction won't build muscle, so I understand why if you move to macros, some people find that they eat more food, or they're able to eat more food, and it doesn't mess with their minds that I'm eating all this food. Because I know, in America, our goal is eat less, exercise more. So I'm going to spend 4 hours on cardio and eat rice cakes. No. The more you eat, the more you'll lose. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how it works. And I know that for a lot of folks, social situations kind of screw us up, where macros give you the freedom to go to a barbecue and not be all freaked out, or be the girl with a jug of water and some carrot sticks. So I totally understand. I understand like both sides of the fence. So, and I know the numbers. The numbers made me crazy. When I was doing macros, I hated it. Now there's so many apps and blah, blah, blah that it makes it a little bit easier. But I hated the fact that I had to sit down at the end of the day and type in what I had. And the fact that I still know a quarter cup of oatmeal has 25 grams of carbs makes me crazy that I know that. I want that out of my head. And for my veggie lovers, doing the macro approach, the thing I like about it, my veggies and my vegans, it'll show you how far off you are with your protein and how high you are with your carbs. So for them, it's a little bit of an education, especially for my newer veggies and my newer vegans, so that you can see that also some of that kind of faux foods aren't exactly the healthiest thing for you. So it helps you to figure out better choices and learn that, how do you put together certain pieces of carb so you have a nice complete protein versus this high carb diet, high carb, high soy diet. So if you think you can eat whatever you want, like I said earlier, it's like going paleo because you want bacon and butter. Like, you can't eat whatever you want. I wish that was the case, but that's just not how it works anymore. Like, we're not wired that way, because our food supply has so many extra stuff in it. So you can't just decide that I'm gonna like, you know, have broccoli one day with my Snickers bar and my Skittles. And so how do you do this? It's becoming a detective. I know in the beginning it's gonna take some time. It's gonna suck tushy. But it's becoming a detective. It's eating foods and listening to your body. Are you hungry? Do you have energy? Does it set off cravings? Does it trigger you to want more foods? And this will take time, but I'll tell you that when you do it this way, you're more able to know, okay, I can't have that because it's not because it's on the list. It's because if I have a banana, it makes me want more sugar. Eggs, you know, if I eat eggs, I need to have a starchy food with it, or I need to have a really fibrous veggie with it so that it keeps me full. So that's the conversations that I'd rather you have versus, oh my God, I have 100 macros left today. What am I gonna do? Like, I'd rather you have those conversations and to be around what type of food fills you. What type of food makes you have the most energy? What type of food keeps you from eating your arm off? What type of food keeps you from having someone hold your legs and you go head first into the bag? You know, so I want it to be more of a mind-body connection versus your body being the driver of what goes into your stomach. So I know that this whole macro thing it's a lot. It's a lot to take. And I like it because it's very educational. I think everyone should learn what makes up food. And so, you know what, I should take a big step back. I never told you this. So for carbs, that's 4 grams in a calorie. Protein is 7, fat is 9, 14 carbs. And protein is 4. So 4, 4, 9. You also have 7 grams of when it comes to alcohol, and we talked about alcohol 2 weeks ago? Yeah, we talked about alcohol 2 weeks ago on the vacation show. So, you know, when you add all that up, that's where the macros come in. That's where you get the pieces of the puzzle. And I think that's good. I think you should know, you know, because so many times people will ask me about a particular food group. And then when we talk through it and we look at the calories, it really helps you make smarter decisions. So, for example, nuts. So many people are like, oh, nuts are great protein. No, they're more of a good fat. And when you look at the ingredient, when you look at the calorie panel on the back of nuts, you'll see that the fat content is higher than the protein content. It's higher than the carb content. So it acts in your body like a good fat. Make sense? The other thing that I want you to start thinking about is same thing with carbs. You know, so many people are like, carbs, and they like run from it like it's an evil dictator. There's nothing wrong with carbs. Carbs start the cycle for you to burn energy. It's what, if you think about the old days when they used to throw coal into the fire, when I throw carbs into the fire, that's what helps start the cycle. That's what helps give me, my body, energy to do this. Give me energy to go out for a run. It's the carbs that kickstart that whole process. And when I'm not having enough carbs, my body looks to find other sources to help kickstart that process, and it'll eat your muscle. Now, I'm not saying it in like a zombie apocalypse kind of way, but like, it's like, I need some amino acids up in here. I need some stuff. I need me some carbs. I need to start the engine. This chick's about to run and I got nothing in the tank. And it eats your muscle. So that's why I always say to people, you know, it's not the carb family. It is the particular carb family that we have processed to high heaven. It's not the acorn squash, which is quite delicious. It's not the zucchini. It's not the beet. It's the enriched white bread. It's the ice cream. It's those things that we need to run from. But again, in moderation. I always tell my clients, everyone should have at least 1 to 2 treat days a week. And those treat days aren't for you to like pull out, your elastic pants and go to the Old Country buffet. Those days are for the things that, you're going to a party. It's the 4th of July next week. And so guess what? I know I'm going to a barbecue on Monday. So I put that into my, my caloric budget, that I'm going to this barbecue. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to eat in moderation. I'm not going to be like, the guy who eats in the hot dog contest. Can we talk about that? What's that all about? What is that all about? I'm not going to be the hot dog contest winner, but I am going to go and I'm going to, eat. I'm going to have a glass of vino, and I'm not going to have this like, oh my God, guilt. I know that I'm going to go, I have a plan. I'm going in ready to rock. And, so that's why I think a lot of people go to the macros, because they can be in their phone and they can be like, oh, oops. They can be like, oh, okay, I only have a few. Okay, I can do that. And I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to feel that way. So we are coming to the end of our time. It's been fantabulous. I will be back in 2 weeks where we talk about self-sabotage. But in the meantime, if you need the show notes, actually hop on my website, fabfitsquad.com/live-tv. And you can also connect with me on social media. I am on Facebook and Instagram, and it is Fab Fit Squad. I love chatting with you guys every other week. Have a fantastic